All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on this great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Now, the painful struggles of the Nigerian people continues, and as we speak, the national grid has collapsed once again. This is the second or third collapse in a space of 30 days, and we have never had it like this. We have never had it this bad in the history of our nation. We are waiting to hear the excuse the Minister of Power, TCN, and others would give this time around. These guys are just out to completely destroy this country, even when they don't even make efforts. Even the areas that they have not looked at are collapsing. Every single sector is collapsing. Frustration everywhere. About an hour ago, a Lagos bus driver reportedly set his own vehicle on fire to avoid LASMA arrest and extortion. Agents like LASMA, police, road safety, etc. have become open criminals under the Bola Tinubu administration. Don't get me wrong, these parastatals were corrupt before he came to Aso Rock, but they have become 10 times worse under him. And few hours ago, the people of Southwest rolled out fresh dose of rejection on Tinubu, and this time around, the very root of Tinubu's political journey in the Southwest. I'm talking about where he began with the legendary M.K.O, Abiola, has come out to reject him. They said nothing can repair his already battered image in the Southwest. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, the president of Chad issued a statement that exposed Tinubu and brought shame on all the fools who claimed that he had leadership skills. This statement by the president of Chad further proves that Tinubu and the APC are not just a disaster to Nigeria, but to the entire Africa. Before I show you details of how Tinubu was rejected by his political roots and how the president of Chad issued a statement disgracing Tinubu, let me quickly show you this video. I'm bringing up this particular video here because it requires a lot of clarification. One of the moves Tinubu planted in the Labour Party in 2023 is trying to give the public a wrong interpretation of harmless comments made by Peter Obi. And I and many obedients will not watch and let this misinformation fly. And that is why I'm putting it up to set the record straight. See the video.
You took a hit at your former principal, Mr.
Who?
Peter Obi.
I didn't take a hit. No.
Yeah, you said to him, you criticized him on Twitter
No.
based on his comment on an
I
online.
corrected him. I cannot hit Peter Obi. I am sentimentally attached to Peter Obi. Peter Obi.
How do you balance it?
Listen to
You're
me.
attached to Peter Obi.
Hold on now. Peter Obi was my project. And I am part and parcel of those who built Peter Obi up. I can't publicly, denigrate that or break down that house. No, I won't do it. But, when the sensibilities of some of us are affected, we, especially when it becomes, a zonal matter. I mean, when you take entire Yoruba race, you call them out. I'm an elder statesman and primarily, first and foremost, a Yoruba man. If I cannot speak the truth at my age, then there's no point to live. What Peter Obi said was wrong. To say that M.K.O, they should now ask people in Ogun State whether they are buying bread. When Bola Tinubu said M.K.O, he was not addressing the nation. He was not addressing a rally. He was addressing, APC delegates in the premises of Ogun State government who are going to APC convention that they should vote for him. And he said, look, and he was speaking in Yoruba, and there's nothing wrong with that. He said, look, I have to form this party. I have to do this. Buhari contested election first, he lost. Second, he lost. Third, he lost. Then, I came in and I helped him to become president. I also helped your son to become vice president. Even Biodun
called him a lay.
Whatever it is, he said, even this governor, I helped him. It is now my turn. What's wrong with that? He says it in Yoruba. I am the next in line for this office. It's legitimate. It was not tribalistic. It was not, it was not a Yoruba thing. It was just something that said, look, I haven't been this leader that has done so much. I should be given a chance to give a shot at it. So, when Obi makes that statement, it insults us. I was a Yoruba man. I'm not blind and I'm not crazy. I left everything and I followed Obi. Obaba Obasanjo, for the first time in his political career, left his circle of influence, Babangida, Abdulsalam, Tiwa Danjuma and co, and he deviated for once and, came to support Obi.
Do you regret
do
you regret supporting Peter Obi?
I don't, because
would you do it again?
If they say that now there's a problem, I cannot do it again. You know why? Because the reason why I did it was that this, what we agreed was that a southern president must emerge. All right, and but that's what I'm telling you. Babadibanjo called me and said, if a southern president must emerge, which zone must it come? Let's be honest and truthful. I said Southeast. So let's support them. Now, if all these, or Shitoku, all of us, if all these eminent Yoruba people supported you, why now bring us down publicly? It's wrong. That's what I did. I didn't take a jab. I just called, and listen to me, Shiro. From now on, we are no longer going to keep quiet for people who just think they can insult Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu in the Southwest is the apple of our eye.
You saw that. Now, the fact that Donyo Kupe was one of the most planted in the Labour Party by Tinubu is not the major issue here. As far as I am concerned, his presence or absence does not improve or diminish the person of Peter Obi in any way. But he said he was part of those who built Obi up. That's a very big lie, sir. You are not. You are just a politically irrelevant, greedy man, and that is to put it mildly. You were only trying to gain popularity with a new Nigeria project led by Peter Obi, and you have since lost all the fame that you putatively gained. Secondly, it is important to point out that Obi never denigrated or insulted the Yorubas. Tinubu said Yoruba ló kàn, tá bá dẹ̀ ṣa gbogbo Yorùbá jọ, èmi ló kàn, meaning it is the turn of Yorubas, and of all Yorubas, I am the most qualified. That was what Tinubu said. He said it was Yoruba's turn to produce the president of Nigeria. And Obi mentioned that statement in that interview, and he said, after saying it is the turn of Yorubas, let us now ask the Yoruba man in Osun and Ogun State how he's faring under the Tinubu regime. Obi was only trying to point out the deception in that statement. He was not denigrating or insulting the Yorubas, as Donyo Kupe is trying to make it seem here. Peter Obi was simply saying it only becomes the turn of the people when the people take their country back. That was what he was trying to point out, that all these politicians are just deceiving them. It was simply a call by Peter Obi to Nigerians to put tribe and religious sentiments aside and unite to build a better nation. Simple. And reacting to that part of the interview where Donyo Kupe said Tinubu is the apple of their eyes in the Southwest, Yorubas rejected that statement and they came down heavily on Donyo Kupe. Let's take some of the reactions from Yorubas. Omoya teacher here says, Tinubu is not the apple of our eye in the Southwest, but the Jagaban of Lagos illiterates, Okupe. And Tunde Akoni replied, he said 100%, meaning you are 100% correct. And Abolade here says, who gave him the right to speak for us? If we are crying, we still see. No be say we just they do anyhow. Olorun nije, apple of what? Iranu. He said, God forbid for such a man to be the apple of the eyes of Southwesterners. And Titi here says, Nigerian politicians, they don't have shame at all. Apple of your eyes indeed. Olenisa. He said, you are a thief, Donyo Kupe. That is it. And Dr. Lawale here says, Peter Obi did not insult the Yoruba people. His message was centered on the importance of unity in Nigeria. He addressed Tinubu's use of divisive slogans such as it is Yoruba's turn during the presidential race. It's as simple as that. But trust the APC to always try to twist facts. And Olayemi here says, apple of which eye, it no go better for you, Auntie Painter. And Olado Oluwafemi here says, that your eyes will go blind forevermore, Donyo Kupe. It will never be well with you, Olori Buruku Arijeni Di Baje. Oh! He said somebody that benefits from evil, but there was a way he put it that means that the man is cursed. And Dekunle of Lagos says, e no go better for you, Ashire Eda, Agbaya, Alatenuje Olori Buruku Ma Shamfani. Donyo Kupe has really been cursed by the Yorubas. And Bababe Taiwo here says, apple of the kleptocrats and not noble Yorubas. Samuel Ayola says, apple, kill your eye there, mumu man. Wow. I hope that this anger and rejection of Tinubu by the Yoruba youths will force the people of Southwest out to defend their votes when they vote against Tinubu. It's not just to vote against Tinubu. Those of us who followed the election closely last year know that Tinubu didn't win in Ogun and Oyo State. But at the end of the day, he was declared winner in both states. So clearly, the people will have to rise against the APC to kick them out of power. And I hope we will be angry enough to do so. Now, let us look at those two updates that have become the major talking points in the Nigerian political space. First of all, the rejection of Tinubu by his political roots, which is the Moshood Abiola groups. And next, that statement from the president of Chad that exposed and disgraced Tinubu. Let's start by taking the update from Moshood Abiola groups saying that Tinubu's already battered image cannot be restored. Look at how the papers reported it. Moshood Abiola Group slams Tinubu, says releasing minors from trial can't save his self-battered image. Reporters. The Moshood Abiola Vanguard for Democracy has blasted Bola Tinubu's government for its handling of the recent detention of minors arrested during a peaceful protest. The organization condemned the administration for what it described as a comical show that has left many Nigerians bewildered. The group accused the Tinubu government of turning a blind eye to the serious human rights violations occurring under its watch, describing the situation as a comical show that fails to resonate with the realities faced by Nigerians. In a statement released on Tuesday by the General Secretary of the group, Comrade Ibrahim Sulaiman Tobilola, and the Public Relations Officer Adeoye Adewumi, they expressed outrage at the government's handling of the situation. How can this be termed an elaborate ceremony after such disgraceful conduct? He questioned. Is this the type of ceremony our nation deserves? The government should be apologizing to Nigerians, especially the children who have been traumatized by Tinubu's regime. They argued that the government's recent efforts at damage control and public relations are inadequate to repair Tinubu's already tarnished image. Tobilola added, this government of propaganda is gradually running out of its many falsehoods, and very soon there won't be any lies left in the kitty. The statement read, this government doesn't know when to stop amusing Nigerians with his comical show. At first, minors were arrested for participating in a legitimate protest, kept for over 96 days in deplorable conditions, and later brought to court for trial for treason to the dismay of Nigerians. Tobilola alleged that the officials that brought the minors to court for trial had sold out their conscience as they struggled to justify their despicable action by calling the minors adults and graduates. Even the police was drafted to the comical show of shame through the first PRO, who also granted a press conference displaying the wickedness and insensitivity of this Tinubu government. The organization noted that the government was forced to take this subtle path after public outcry and international condemnation that put the government in a defensive position. Tinubu has exposed himself freely to the world, his dictatorial and oppressive style of government. He said the government should rather start apologizing to Nigerians, especially Nigerian children who have been traumatized by Tinubu's regime. These damage control and face-saving moves cannot save Tinubu's already self-battered image. This government of propaganda is gradually running out of many falsehoods, and very soon there won't be any lies left in the kitty, Tobilola added. You heard that. That was the Moshood Abiola group there, a very strong political group in the southwest. As a matter of fact, this is the group where Tinubu himself formed his political career. They said his image is already battered in the southwest. And of course, everybody who has been following closely knows that. And just as Nigerians were yet pondering on this communique by the Moshood Abiola group, this heavy statement dropped by the president of Chad, exposing the inefficiency, the inconsistency, and the complicity of the Tinubu-led joint task force against Boko Haram. Look at how the papers reported it. Chadian president threatens to withdraw from Boko Haram campaign after loss of 40 soldiers, cites lack of cooperation, reporters. After losing 40 soldiers in a raid by Boko Haram terrorists in the latest attack, the Chadian president, Mahamat Idris Deby, has threatened to pull the country's troops out of the multinational joint task force. While on a week-long visit to the country's troops in the theater of operation, President Deby decried lack of coordination among the MNGTF forces, which, according to him, paved the way for terrorists to strike occasionally. He noted that the war was protracting unnecessarily and therefore threatened to sever the country's military from the campaign. MNGTF comprises troops from Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, the Benin Republic, and Chad. On October 27, jihadist group Boko Haram launched an attack on the Chadian army, killing 40 soldiers overnight near the Nigerian border, the government and local sources said. A garrison housing more than 200 soldiers was targeted by the members of the Boko Haram late on Sunday, a local source informed. Also, the presidency said in a statement that the attack struck near Ungoboa in the west of the country, tragically leaving about 40 people dead. You heard that. Now, what is happening here is simple. They said these members of Boko Haram and terrorists that are terrorizing Nigeria, that they are entering Nigeria through all these border countries. So the government of Nigeria said, okay, let us form a joint task force with the troops of these border countries so that we can combat the Boko Haram together. But we said it here that the first thing that is needed to fight insurgency in Nigeria is sincerity. We said that the APC was not sincere in their fight against insurgency because these guys that are now terrorizing Nigeria were even brought into this country by the APC to fight the Jonathan regime in 2014 before the election. So now they went ahead, formed this joint task force with other countries, Niger Republic, Cameroon, Chad, and now the president of Chad is coming out to say that he cannot allow them to be killing his own soldiers anyhow, that there is no cooperation in this joint task force. The man is apparently telling us that there is no sincerity. He said, and this insincerity, this lack of consistency is allowing for loopholes where Boko Haram is coming through to strike his own soldiers. And the man values his people. 40 soldiers are dead and he's threatening to pull out. If he's in Nigeria, they'll say is he not just 40? And this man, from the statement he's issuing, even if it was just 2-3 soldiers they killed, he will still be issuing this same threat. Because what he is worried about is the fact that there is no sincerity and seriousness in this campaign. He said the war is protracting for too long. It is going on for too long. Meaning, if we are serious, we should have nipped this in the bud. This is what we have been saying in this country for a long time. And this is what the president of Chad is exposing to the whole world. Idara Esang here says, at ECOWAS, at African Union, at USA African Command, at European Union in Nigeria and US in Nigeria, at UK Parliament. Investigate the army officials and some politicians of Nigeria for sponsoring terrorism. They set up Nigerian soldiers and now Chad soldiers to be killed. It's clearly a setup. Top people in the army, powerful people, so-called powerful people, working with these killers. And it is never going to stop because, first of all, they have an agreement to operate like this. And secondly, this is the APC and this is what they stand for. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And who are the people at the receiving ends? It is the common man. It is you and I, Hausas, Yorubas, Igbos, Christians, Muslims alike. All over Nigeria, we are the ones at the receiving end. And that is why I keep preaching it here, that if we desire to have a country in the near future, we must cast aside our sentiments, unite so that we can take our country back. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news. Well, una go like. Why? Because now because of una I dey here, so don't go away.